And oh boy, I would say that my most favorite adventure is really when I go to the music shows, like when I go to the Jazz and Blues Jazz Festival, and when I go to Sumfest. I just love those music shows. So that for me is my favorite adventure. And I really am, with this pandemic going around now and all those shows being cut. It has been traumatic.
What if writing a book is not just a way to transform the lives of many people, but also a way to create financial freedom and leave a legacy? Wouldn't you want to find out just how to do that? Well, that's what this show is all about.
Hi, I'm Hennika Watkis, Porter speaker, coach, author of Podcast Power, and the host of the Entrepreneurial You podcast, inviting you to listen to the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast, brought to you by C. Ruth Taylor, best-selling indie author and the Caribbean's most trusted voice on entrepreneurship. Tune in for inspiration, information, and innovation to write and win with books. Get ready to dominate entrepreneurship.
Hello, Wagwan. Welcome to episode 17 of the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast. I'm your host, C. Ruth Taylor, and this is the show where we give you the roadmap to win with books, beyond book sales, and dominate entrepreneurship. Coming up in today's show, I'm going to be interviewing one of my favorite retirees, Patricia Reid Waugh, and she wrote the book Retirement: A New Adventure. And this lady is just doing amazing things in her retirement. So she's going to be sharing her story with us and more about her book, Retirement: A New Adventure. So you don't want to miss that. But before we get into the interview, let's have a word from our sponsor, Frame Art Jamaica Limited.
Come to Frame Art Jamaica Limited for your one-stop framing, graphic design, and printing needs. We frame photos, certificates, paintings, t-shirts, and so much more. You can also get high-quality prints and framing done in a quick turnaround time to fit your budget. Visit Frame Art Jamaica at 22C Old Hope Road, Kingston 5. Weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 876-929-3058 or visit us at info@frameartjamaica.com. Serving you for over 30 years.
Patricia is the author of the book Retirement: A New Adventure, which is full of ideas about how to have an active and fulfilling retirement. She has delivered presentations to hundreds of pre-retirees at retirement seminars and workshops put on by corporations and other organizations. She's leading by example. She took up the challenge of learning to play the violin and the steel pan well into her 60s and learning to swim at 70. Wow, I still can't swim. So there is so much you can do in retirement. Patricia was also awarded gold and silver medals for her entries in national speech and creative writing competitions at the respective ages of 68 and 70. And today it is our pleasure to have her on the show. Lady Pat, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Good morning.
And good evening, wherever you are when you are listening to this. No, Lady Pat.
Maybe I should say good day then.
I tell you, good day, because of the different time zone. I am so proud of you. You are living the retirement dream. But just before you get into the book and how we can win in retirement, tell me, what is your favorite thing about Jamaica? And in your retirement adventure, which is the most exciting place you've been to?
Oh, well, my favorite thing about Jamaica is really the people, the fun and the personality of the people. One of the things when I was overseas, you can't just pop up at people's homes, you know, your family and your friends. You have to call before, and you have to, you know, let them know you're coming tomorrow and what time you're coming. In Jamaica, you just check on your friends when you're ready to see them. If you're passing through you in the neighborhood, you call to find out if they are there, and they're happy to see you. So I love that about Jamaica. It's a more relaxed, you know, environment. And when it comes on to family and friends, it's much more relaxed than being overseas. And oh boy, I would say that my most favorite adventure is really when I go to the music shows, like when I go to the Jazz and Blues Jazz Festival, and when I go to Sumfest. I just love those music shows. So that for me is my favorite adventure. And I really am, with this pandemic going around now and all those shows being cut. It has been traumatic.
Wow. So just listening to you, I can see you're an extrovert. I don't like when people just pop up at my house, even though I'm Jamaican. I prefer when they call. But that is so fascinating. And you like going to some fest. Oh my goodness, I've never been there. That's good. So tell us about this book that you've written, Retirement, a New Adventure. How did it come about?
It came about in a very strange way. I was actually writing somewhat of a memoir, and I saw a publishing course being advertised, a 2-day publishing course. I went to the course, and the instructor asked, if you were to write a book today, what would it be about? So I just said retirement. I just put the topic retirement. And then he had us flesh out chapters and so on during the course of the 2-day seminar. I put down that and went on with my life. About a month later, I bounced upon the notes from that seminar, and I started looking through it, and I said, you know something, I should really write this book. And that is exactly how it came about. And I just wrote the book because of my vast experience and my multicultural experience. I was able to pull on a lot of things I had done over my life, and pull it into this book. So the book really is about and just enjoying retirement, staying active, not going into a slump, but staying active and engaged and enriched. So I talk about travel, for instance, all the elements of travel, and I give tips, on some of the things that I've learned about travel, like, low budget fares and all that. And then there's another chapter about unleashing the maestro in you, where I talk about people who are able to go and learn a musical instrument. And I give my own example of learning to play the violin well into my 60s. And, well, it was written before I started learning to play the steel pan, but the violin example is there. And it really shows you that the things that you wanted to do all your life, you can now do it. And I talk about hobbies also, because when it comes on to income generation in your retirement years, your hobbies, your passions, the things that you used to do for fun in your early years can come and be an income generating activity for you in retirement. And then there's a chapter on volunteering and mentoring, which is something that's very dear to my heart, because I believe that after you have lived this long and you have acquired this much knowledge and wisdom and skills and so on, it is very important for you to take a little time out and impart give what you have, share what you have gained with others, with youngsters, and also, in areas of volunteerism. And then I talk about the internet, my favorite place. I know that's not a normal place for a 72-year-old, but the internet can do so much for us. And we can meet, we can tweet, we can connect, and I'm now connecting with people I used to go to Sunday school with when I was a little child. And it is just, and all the new friends that we're also finding, people of like mind. We can go into groups and join these groups that are of specific interest to us. So that is also another experience that I talk about in the book. And then the last chapter is entitled Tell Your Story. And I am trying to get people all over the world, retirees all over the world, to recognize that each of us has a story to tell. So that chapter, encourages you to tell your story. And it doesn't mean you don't have to write a book. You can do an audio blog. You can do a video blog. You get the young members of your family to assist you. Tell them you have something to say or you want to say it, and they will assist you in getting it done. So that in essence is a book. And everybody loves the book. They think it's an easy read. That is the normal comment that people make, and that it is very interesting. Somebody spoke to me recently and said he does not understand how I was able to get so much in this relatively small book, because the book is just 96 pages. And he said he just can't understand how I packed so much in there.
I love that you've said so many things. I've read the book, folks, and I got my mom a copy. She's like 3 years away from official retirement, but she's not planning to retire. She has a whole lot of things to do outside of the formal working system. My favorite chapter is also that one on Tell Your Stories. And I got so many ideas in reading it about the audio blogs and just the importance of passing on your story to the next generation. And out of that, Lady Pat, as I read your book, it inspired me so much. But when I read the book, what struck me is that I don't need to wait until retirement to do some of these things. And so one of the things that the book helped me to do is that I went to St. Mary during the Christmas season, and I took some of my mentees on a trip back to my family home. And my grandmother is like 85 or 86. I don't remember fully. I think she's gonna be 86 this year. And she started telling them stories, and you should see the young people just sat down and they were taking it in, and we were exploring the land and learning what certain plants can do. And they were just, their parents as well, because I took the parents, they were just so enraptured by what she was saying. And then I said, you know what, I have to go back again. And so we went back Boxing Day, and this time I took out my phone and I said, grandmother, you have to tell us our story. Where did we come from? Why did you move here? And I recorded all of that goodness. And it was your book that I read that inspired me and put a level of focus to that trip. So I want to thank you for that. That was, I want to encourage everybody to go get that book. You can find it online, you can find it on Amazon, wherever. It is such a good book. So for somebody at my age, how do we prepare for retirement from now? Guide us in that process.
Well, one of the things that, and first of all, let me just say Thank you for highlighting that, because there is that section in the book that says that going back to your roots, and I think that is what inspired you there, and it is something that we all should do. We all should go back to our roots, go find out where we came from. And I think I outlined a story in there of a gentleman who, a family member of mine, who went back to his roots, and that was a fascinating story. So I guess that is what sent you to St. Mary. So I'm happy for that. In terms of preparing for retirement, I would say one of the things you have to do first of all, before you even start anything else, you have to get your mind ready. Mindset is important. There are a lot of people who don't prepare themselves, and when it comes onto them, they just don't know how to handle it. There was an instance of a lady who retired, and every morning she was going to her office, driving to her office into the parking lot and sitting down in the parking lot there in her car, because she just couldn't, she didn't know what to do with herself. So the first thing you have to do is you have to prepare your mindset. Understand that there is going to come a day when this thing that you have, this thing that you are doing is going to be over, right? In the form in which you are doing it. And the people who you are engaging, whether it is customers, co-workers, clients, and all that, there is going to come a day when your engagement is going to have to be different. So if you notice, when you read my book, you would have seen that there were a lot of things in it that led up from long before I retired. So, for instance, I was doing music before I retired. I've been doing music since I've been a child. And so doing the violin and learning to play the violin now as a new instrument is really an extension of my musical experience. So one of the things you have to do is, as a 40-year-old, is start looking at the things that you are doing. Start looking at your passions, your hobbies, and all that, and say to yourself, what do I want to do when I retire? And when you look at those things, you are going to find out that you may have to do some lessons to enhance what your skills, or your capabilities in whatever area. There was a lady who I counseled at a retirement seminar. Afterwards we spoke, and she said that she used to play the violin when she was a child. She still had a violin, the violin, new brand, in good condition, but she had not, she had gone to college, got married, had children, and the violin was just sitting in a closet. And I said to her, pull out that violin, go and register in my violin school. Now that you are working and you have money that you can pay for the violin lessons, your children are all, out of college. So you can now pay for the violin lessons, and you go and do that. Bring your violin skills back up to a respectable, respectable condition, right? Or competency. And then when you actually retire 4 years from now, you are actually able to teach children in your community, in your neighborhood, how to play the violin. There is your post-retirement money coming in to supplement your pension, giving violin lessons. So while you are actually working, what you're going to have to do is look at what you're doing, look at what you want to enhance, the skills you want to enhance, the things that you would want to do in retirement, and use the funds, your income as you have it now, and you enhance your skills and capabilities, or if it is something that you have to acquire, if it is something you have to purchase, you purchase it now and you start paying for it. You might have to pay for it on higher purchase or so on. But while you're actually working, then you're going to do that kind of a thing. So that is how you plan for 20-25 years down the road at 40. And of course, another thing is, I want you to take care of your health, because if you do not take care of your health, when you get to retirement, you are going to have a miserable time, because you're going to be suffering from so many you know illnesses, lifestyle illnesses, non-communicable diseases, the diabetes, the hypertension, you have kidney issues and all that sort of a thing, if you don't take care of your health at 40 years old. And then what will happen is that the little pension you are getting and the little money that you may get from your hobbies going to be going into medication and seeing specialists and all of that. So these are the things that you need to do. You need to start at 40. You need to start thinking about that 25-year-old plan. And of course, it goes without saying that you have to put together a good financial plan in place, so that when you get to retirement, you will have a reasonable financing in place, because that is what I did not do. And so I had to kind of play catch up, because it's amazing when you are working and you are at 40 years old, money is coming in and going out and you don't even think about it. When you get to 65, 68 years old, for some strange reason, the money just seemed to just come out of your hands so quickly. And you have $100,000 today, and tomorrow it's gone. One doctor, one procedure, one test is $50,000 out of that 100. So you have to put your financial plan in place. And of course, it goes without saying, you have to have your health insurance, because as you age, you are going to have the normal aging issues. So you have to have your health insurance in place. And now is the time for you to put your health insurance in place while you're young. Not when you get to my age, because when you get to my age and you have all the pre-existing conditions, nobody wants to insure you anymore.
Wow, those are some solid tips. But I'm so really proud of you. I'm looking at this thing where it says you recently launched a newsletter. There are many persons, even in their 60s, 50s, who are still technology averse. I mean, COVID now has forced us to move from analog to digital. So people are getting, more persons now have to deal with it, and many are complaining. I heard some complaints very recently. But you at your age, you said at 72, I'm looking here that it said that you recently built a website and that your command of the digital space has not gone unnoticed. So you were nominated as one of the finalists in the Digital Jamaica People to Watch in 2021 by the Digital Disruption Agency. You are an amazing lady. But
Thank you, Ruth.
I want to encourage you, as long as God gives you breath, to continue. So one final thing before we end the interview, apart from not preparing financially, what has been the most difficult part of retirement apart from that area? Is there any other difficulty that you have had that you think that we need to pay attention to pay heed to before we get there, if we get there?
Well, that I mentioned it. I talked about the health situation and the health insurance because I actually I've had 6 major surgeries in my life, and when I say major, I mean major. A lot of my organs or parts of them are not there anymore, and when what I did foolishly, I terminated my health insurance several years ago, not recognizing that, I would have needed it at this stage. And I was kind of penny wise, pound foolish. And when I came back to Jamaica in 2011, and nobody would insure me because I had so many surgeries and so many problems. I was having kidney issues, diabetes, and hypertension, and all those lovely things, and nobody would insure me. So that was a problem, and having to spend out of pocket for your medical bills is awful, because you have to do all these tests. You have to do periodic a whole battery of blood tests periodically, every so many months, and they knock the socks out of you, and it really, so that I would say it has been my greatest difficulty. But thankfully, the CCRP, Gallagher Insurance Brokers, and the CCRP came up with a policy at the end of 2019, where a policy for people 50 years and over in Jamaica here. And they had a 3-month period, which was an open enrollment period where you didn't have to declare anything. So I just dived in there and got in. So I'm now on that policy, and it has made a considerable difference. And I make sure that my premiums, I pay my premiums on time, and that they're accounted for. So yes.
Wow, you are truly speaking to me, and as you spoke earlier about vulnerability, because I too have terminated mine, and so I am here thinking, wow, this is something I really need to go back and reinvest in, because I'm self-employed, and when you start on this journey, it's just about essentialism. I don't even call it minimalism, essentialism. But packed in that needs to be my health insurance. And there was a time when I was almost blacklisted too, because I've had 2 lung collapses before, and they didn't want to insure me. But thank God for companies like Gallagher, and I pray that others will come on board. So where can we find out more about you and how we can learn more about retirement? Because I'm sure after this episode, my listeners are gonna want to stay in touch with you. Where can we find out more about you and get more information on retiring right?
Well, I'm on Instagram, P Reid Waugh, PREIDWAUGH. I am on Facebook, Patricia.Reid Waugh. I am on LinkedIn. Same, if you just put in my name, Patricia Reid Waugh, then you can find me. And anybody who wants to get in touch with me can actually send me a DM, and just send me a direct message or a message to my inbox, and I will connect with you.
Wow, this has been so good, chock full of goodness, tips to help us to win in retirement, and we want to thank you so much. Okay, we trust that you enjoyed that episode, and you're going to go out and get your book, Retirement: A New Adventure, to support Patricia Reid Waugh. I read the book and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I even gave a copy to my mom, and part of the book inspired me in creating what I call the legacy journal and going back to my roots to capture the story of my family, to preserve that. My grandmother is in her 80s, and this was one of the books that caused me to go back. And that leads me to my latest authorpreneurship venture. Well, I have coming up a Legacy Builder Summit. That's going to be all the way in October, but I've created the Legacy Journal, and I'm going to be creating the Legacy Builder series with several of my books: Pen It to Win It, Going Beyond Book Sales, Write and Retire Right. Both the audio versions are going to be available and the ebook versions. So I'm currently working on the audio version for Write and Retire Right, and finalizing the Legacy Journal. Writing is hard. And some persons find it daunting, and then self-publishing can be expensive, and it's not so easy to get a traditional publishing deal. But I believe that we can achieve the same goals that writing a book does without actually writing a book, and that is to document our experiences, the wisdom of the elders, the wisdom of our parents. We can write those down, and then we can give that to different family members. It can become part of succession planning, leadership training, where you can pass on these journals, telling your story to the next generation, to others, and it is more endearing, and it will inspire, it will educate, and it will even entertain. And this is what the Legacy Journal is all about. So I'm finalizing that, and then we're going to have the Legacy Builder Summit in October, and Patricia Reid Waugh is going to be sharing in that summit, telling us about her own book and retirement, a new adventure. And another Patricia, Pat Lindsay Fletcher, who wrote a book based on her grandfather's story, Hezekiah, is also going to be sharing. And then Dr. Corbin, former president of the Caribbean Graduate School of Theology, he's also going to be sharing. He's going to be the keynote speaker at the Legacy Builder Summit, which is for grandparents, parents, leaders, mostly persons who want to write and leave a legacy, or retirees. Anybody who wants to write down their family history, this is really good for you. But this one is especially for those who don't want to write a book, because later the stories that you document, these journals, can be converted into a book. And as time goes by, I'm going to be sharing more about that. So that's it as relates to my latest authorpreneurship venture. So that's it for today's show. Thank you for listening to today's episode. And if you've not begun your author journey, I have a treat for you. You can go to authorpreneursecrets.com and get a free copy of the book, The Rocket Writer, How to Write a Nonfiction Book in 24 Hours. And that's for free. And you can also get the Publishing Starter Kit. That's 10 videos to explain to you the publishing process and how you can publish on a budget, and both are free to help you on your author journey, so that later you can leverage those books for maximum impact and income and become an authorpreneur. Thanks for listening. Remember to share this episode with a friend and leave a rating for the show. Remember, take charge of your publishing, go pen it to win it, and dominate authorpreneurship. Ta for now, until next time.
I'm Tamara Francis, educator and editor. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share the podcast with your network. If you'd like to increase your impact and income with books, visit authorpreneursecrets.com for more resources, including the books Pen It to Win It and Authorpreneur Secrets. Join the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy membership group for courses, coaching, and community support to write, publish and win with books. Enrollment is in January and June each year. You may also sign up for one of Ruth's Publishing Made Easy courses or private coaching to write and publish your next book. Until next time, go pen it to win it.